Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Tejaswini ma'am. Good afternoon. Are you hearing me, Tejaswini madam?
Tejaswini madam, you are mute. Unmute it.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, hello, Pankhuri ma'am. Kalpana, Paul sir.
Good evening.
Hello. I was mute because I was live streaming on YouTube, and that's why I was in that. So it was mute.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Dayasri Patil ma'am,
Hi.
Dayasri Patil ma'am. Hello, how are you?
Fine.
Hi.
Shekha ma'am, welcome. Mukherjee sir, welcome. Purnima, welcome.
I am actually in a train,
Pankhuri
ma'am,
ma'am.
like I had told. So my signal is a little unstable.
Yes.
I go and turn on again.
Let it be, let it be. You will be coming and going, but we will accept it. It's okay. You'll be there.
He's traveling, seems.
Unstable, yeah. Sushmindarjit ma'am, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. How is your situation?
I'm better.
Good.
Better than coming to again to life and
Yeah. Need to.
daily counting the days also, but still I'm coming back.
Yes. We are with you, remember.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Seriously, that's a big consolation.
Yeah. Will be always, whatever.
Thank you so much.
Sujata, welcome. Savita, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Savita Patil
Host.
Good evening to all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Samruddhi here.
Yes. I can
Glad
hear
to
you.
see
I
you,
can
ma'am.
see you.
Glad to see you.
Aditi, welcome.
Good evening, Sherke ma'am.
Sujata.
Good evening. I was mute.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Pragya Mishra, ma'am, welcome. Now, also you are visible.
I was invisibly visible.
Yes. Arpita, ma'am, welcome.
Good evening, Basudeb Paul sir.
Good evening.
Nair, ma'am, Chitra Nair, ma'am, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
I want to see the faces of the students.
Yes, yes. Many students are there around, sir. 46% students are there.
Yeah,
Yes.
only for the students.
Yeah.
हमारा जो होना था हो गया.
Yes. Samradni, welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Let us wait for a few minutes so that.
Today,
Yeah.
I have another function.
Oh.
And from 6, actually, I'm telling you, Kumud Bala madam, you know it. You know her, na?
Yeah, I know her.
Her birthday is there today.
Okay.
But her daughter is planning to
Have the speakers join, ma'am?
surprise her.
Okay.
And we have been invited. But surprise is not a surprise at all because everybody knows, everybody wishing her. Yet, we have to meet at 6. And
Okay.
I have written a poem on birthday and dedicated to her. And
Okay. So then here now you recite your poem in the beginning and then you can leave.
Yes.
Yes.
No, from 6, no problem. I'll be here.
Yes, but still.
Students are there, that's why I feel interested.
Okay.
I give preference to the students 100%.
Yeah, we have more students today.
Very good.
Yeah.
Let them activate, let them speak, let them remove the inertia, nothing else.
Yeah.
Second time, Tejaswini madam will not get any job in a college. Ho gaya. So let them come up. We should encourage, we should help them coming up. Disturbing now, madam?
Hello.
Ravani madam?
Hello, Tejas ma'am. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ravani madam has many qualities. Tejaswini madam, you don't worry. She will cover.
No, not.
She can dance, she can sing, she can draw, she can recite. So many multi-layers.
No, nothing like that.
Nana, everything like that. So you don't worry, Tejaswini madam. We have come to listen to her.
Very nice to see you.
Thank you, ma'am.
मॅडम आवाज येतोय का?
येतो सर. येतो सर पण दिसत नाहीये तुम्ही.
दिसत नाही?
अजून दिसत नाहीये.
नाही दिसत अजून.
नाही अजून नाही दिसत. मॅडम दिसतात सर. नाही दिसत नाही दिसत.
नाही दिसत.
सरांचा व्हिडिओ ऑफ आहे, ऑन करा सर.
व्हिडिओ ऑन करा सर.
तेजस्विनी मॅडम, तेजस्विनी मॅडम, आर यू हिअरिंग मी? तेजस्विनी मॅडम. Hello, Tejaswini madam. Are you beginning now?
I think we shall begin now.
Yeah. Kharat sir.
Yes, begin.
Yes. Kharat sir.
Yes, madam.
You start recording on your part too.
Okay.
So.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes. You are.
100% audible.
Because I am getting some signal of fluctuating the internet, so I'm a bit baffled whether am I audible to all of you or not.
Yes, you are.
We are also fluctuating pandemic.
Sorry?
Serious problem internet, sir.
Yes, on behalf of Arts and Commerce College Kasegaon and INSEI Journal, this is Dr. Savita Patil. I welcome you all on this virtual forum. We will start the program very soon. Rajastri madam. Rajastri madam, shall we start our program or shall we wait for a few minutes more?
I'm not aware of the fact that whether the resource persons, both of them are.
I can see Kalpana ma'am over here. So one resource person is present here, I think. Yes, I can see her in participant.
Srishti Sinha, what about Srishti
Yeah,
Sinha?
she's also there. She's also there. She's also there.
Yeah. So let us not wait now. Let us start, I think.
Ask to Tejaswini ma'am.
But Kharat sir, Tejaswini ma'am, where is she?
Here.
Ma'am has asked Kharaj sir to start.
Yes.
She is going to introduce the program.
Tejaswini ma'am, are you there? Tejaswini Patil ma'am, are you there?
Yes, we can see her. She is in the list of participants also. It means that she is
She's not visible
in the meeting.
Who, ma'am?
Yeah, she's there.
Yes. We were talking about you.
Yes.
Shall we begin the program?
Yeah. Yes. Let us begin.
Good evening to all of you. This is Dr. Savita Patil from Ramannagar College. On behalf of Arts and Commerce College Kasegaon and INSEE Journal, that is an international journal of creative literature for peace and humanity, I welcome all the participants, resource person, and all the dignitaries on this virtual forum with words. We all are here today. We all are here for the virtual national workshop series on creative writing, and the first part will be in the first part we will be dealing with the poetry form, and similarly we will have a very interesting and very exciting the poetry recitation program also subsequently. So at the outset, I welcome all the dignitaries on this virtual forum here. Basically, change is the only constant in this world. And T.S. Eliot says, a great poet in writing of himself writes his age. So every poet talks of his or her age through the poem. Poetry says about changing time, feelings of optimism or pessimism, of apprehension, confusion. Perhaps this virtual poetry recitation and the workshop on poetry form would be the confluence of all it here. See, we write poems because it is actuated by the heart. We do it for the pure pleasure, for own happiness. As of now, we all know that history tells us what had happened, but poetry tells us what may happen with the law of probability and necessity. So, according to Aristotle, poetry is far superior than any social sciences in the world here. And so for this celebration of poetry form, we all are here. So once again, I welcome all the dignitaries on this forum. And now we will begin the program with the motivational song, We Shall Overcome. May I request Tejaswini ma'am to play the tune.
Yeah.
shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
झूम ॲप डाउनलोड केलंस का? हा, इकडे माझ्यापाशी या, मग इथं बस.
Thank you.
इकडे या.
Thank you. Deepak Sate sir, will you please mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I request all the participants in this program to mute themselves. Probably the overuse of internet gives us glitches.
Connectivity disturbing you there, no?
Yeah, seems to be. Basically,
yes. Because of heavy rain, the cable networks have disturbed. Yeah.
Raining.
So, yeah. Now I'm here.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Even we have to, we all will keep patience for a few minutes if someone face the internet glitches here. Sorry for the disturbance, and we will proceed. Shall I?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, this motivational song has given us a lot confidence in ourselves. Yes, we will certainly overcome this pandemic that has blocked us physically. So on this note, I will proceed here. I would like to call Dr. Tejaswini Patil ma'am to give the introductory thought on this program. Over to you, madam. Dr. Tejaswini Patil, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Savita ma'am. Good evening, everybody. Today, I welcome all of you in this national level workshop series, the first part that is on poetry. Honorable Secretary of Kasegaon Education Society, Sakhari, Principal R.D. Sawant sir, who has assured me to join when he is relieved from rescue work or relief work of flood. Joint Secretary of Kasegaon Education Society, Principal Dr. Kurapka sir. The chief speaker of this workshop, Ms. Srishti Sinha and Dr. Kalpana Ganga. and Inside Journal, an international journal of creative literature. Welcome to you all on this rainy evening in this national workshop series on creative literature, part 1, poetry. Arts and Commerce College Kasegaon is a small unit with high intentions, settled on a small hill surrounded by green fields. It helps students of this interior locality to soar in the skies of their own choices. Established in 1985, the college has bright tradition of university rankers, national international sportspersons, and successful politicians in the alumni. The NSS volunteers have reached the interior villages and have worked for the upliftment. A catchy building visible from the NH4 is an asset of the college. Inside Journal, an international journal of creative literature for peace and humanity, is a venture by Aurobindoji and myself since October 2020. I would like to provide opportunity to Sri Aurobindoji to explore Inside contribution in afterwards. In this workshop series on creative literature is an outcome of the discussion when students' need for creative literature, especially on the backdrop of pandemic. The literary genres of poetry, short stories, fiction, non-fiction, and SMM and memoir, which are popular in today's literary scenario, are still unfamiliar to the students of our rural areas. In order to acquaint them with the creative process and open the doors of opportunities in media, advertisement, and other job opportunities, as well as to open the unexplored regions of creative imagination, the series is initiated. Today, we are going to begin with popular form of literature, that is poetry. I'm happy to declare that even with a short notice of the workshop in poets like Dr. Paul sir, Dr. Sai Prakash sir, Dr. Rajhans, Dr. Alka Purva, Purnanand Chari sir, Shashikala Ingle ma'am, Aditi Burve, Nitusmita Saikia, Dr. Vinita Basantani, and all the members who have joined this event with enthusiasm are all close to my heart. I request all our participants to continue to other two workshops also, which are part 2 on short story, fiction and non-fiction, and part 3, essay and memoir. With this short introduction of the program, I take leave. Thank you so much. Over to you, Savita. Savita. Yeah. Perhaps there is also internet cliche. So now I invite the principal of Arts and Commerce College Kasegaon to express the welcome speech on this occasion. Principal Dr. S.R. Mane sir, please.
आवाज येतोय? आवाज येतोय?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
दिसू शकत नाही ना?
नाही दिसत.
तर तुमचं हा तर व्हिडिओ ऑन करा तुमचा व्हिडिओ बंद आहे.
नाही होत नाही, कॅमेरा ऑन होत नाही. मी ऑडिओच पद्धतीने जॉईन होतो. हा
Okay, sure. Okay. No issues.
Good evening, everybody. Virtually, we are here to attend National Workshop Series on Creative Literature. Part first of this workshop is poetry recitation, and this online workshop, it is organized by Department of English, Kasegaon Education Societies, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon. I am Principal S.R. Mane. I am here to welcome the distinguished personalities which are present for this online workshop. On behalf of our Kasegaon Education Society, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, and organizing committee of this workshop. First of all, I would like to welcome Honorable Arbinduji, founder, Insai Journal. On behalf of college, I heartily welcome our Kasegaon Education Society's Secretary, Honorable R.D. Sawant sir, who always gives support in all respect for organization of such activities. I also welcome today's guest speaker, Mrs. Srishti Sinha, Dr. Kalpana Madam. I also welcome all participants who are participated in this workshop of English literature. I welcome you all once again to this workshop and hope that you will feel prosperous by the knowledge you received after this workshop. With this, I conclude my welcome speech. Thank you. Thank you very much. Patil Madam, my speech is concluded. Please continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Over to Savita. Hello? Savita?
She might not be in coverage.
Yeah, okay, okay. I'll continue with. So now I request Honorable Arbindu Gangaji to introduce the audience to INSAI, an international journal of creative literature for peace and humanity. Please, Arbinduji.
First of all, it's audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are.
A warm welcome to one and all. Before that, thank you, Tejaswini ji and Savita Patil, for giving me an opportunity to speak. First of all, I would like to extend my greetings to the principal, Dr. S.R. Mane, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, Head of the Department of English, Dr. Rajeshri Patil, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, and convener and my co-founder of INSAI, Dr. Tejaswini Patil ji. I would also like to extend my greetings to honorable dignitaries, erudite literary enthusiasts, and all my dear students. It is my prerogative on behalf of INSAI Journal to have an eximious collaboration with Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, for an online national workshop series on creative literature. So today we begin with poetry, and we will have a series of other literary genres like short stories, fictions, and other things as we go into the journey. We at INSAI take this opportunity in organizing this online event with our college, with the college Kasegaon. And let me tell you about the literary journey we had. So to begin with, it was a dream that we started our literary journey last year, October 2020. And when I say we, it's Tejaswini ji and I who started this beautiful literary journey for English literary journal. And to go into the journey, we also would like to have another journey, which will be a multilingual journey. And we hope it will begin soon. So as far as the INSAI literary journey is concerned, we have all genres as well. So to begin with, it is going to be poetry. So in our journal, we have poetry, short stories, fiction, non-fiction, essay, memoir, quote with images, literary achievements, literary. We also take care of literary achievements, literary appreciation, and literary news. And there are some of the facts which we want to highlight with respect to literary things as such. Going forward, our journal is for peace and humanity. So peace and humanity is something which is very close to our heart. And this is INSAI is a where we are trying to provide new voices, fresh voices, people who are just joined in this new literary journey. We are giving them the platform, both national and international. We also have a good um, set of editorial board members. So in fact, we have around 10 to 15 editorial members across the globe. And we also have advisory board who advises on various literary facets. And with that, we also have a peer-reviewed selection process where we don't consider as such who has written the content. We go for a blind selection rule where we receive the content and the content is being seen for completeness, and that is forwarded to the editorial, and we finally give it a shot for publication. As far as the genres are concerned, we receive a maximum with poetry, and we get huge number. It is around 40 to 60, 70 per month. So usually monthly journals are very difficult to handle, but we are trying our best to handle the journal, and it is actually a challenging one as we go, because to begin with, the journal is easy, but the thing is a little Herculean task. So we are having a beautiful, and sustenance part is that we are concentrating on. Today the session will be, as you know, about poetry, and I hope the workshop having two speakers, Dr. Kalpana ji and our own research, Shrishti Sinha, will be enlightening the students with their talks. Hope it will be a more enlightening and enriching talk for the online seminar. And the second part, which I personally would be very much interested, because I would also be, I will be also reciting my poetry. So that is going to be a wonderful thing. Apart from that, I would humbly request all of you, if you could also contribute to our Inside Journal with your poetry, short stories, fiction, so that we will have a very enriching and enlightening experience with respect to English literature. So I'll make this one as a short one. I don't want to go for a long one. So this is from me. I'm looking forward for a beautiful literary session today. As of now, thanks a lot for having me here. And thank you. Over to Tejaswini ji. Tejaswini ji, are you there?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abindu ji. You have, in short period, you have explained how we have traveled for last 10 months. We are going to release next issue on 5th of August. So we are preparing for that. He has thrown light on the process. Please. Hello? Dikshit ma'am? Yeah. Please mute, everyone, please mute the audios. Yeah. So that, yeah. Megha ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I have to introduce. Okay, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Kalpana Gangatirkar, ma'am, our guest at today's online National Workshop on Creative Writing. Dr. Kalpana Gangatikar ma'am is at present working as professor in Mahavir College, Kolhapur. Ma'am is coordinator of postgraduate department of English at Mahavir College. She is also a research guide at Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and she has been guided many MPhil and PhD students. Ma'am is interested in Indian English literature, new literature, translation studies and feminist literature. Ma'am writes poetry both in English as well as in Marathi. Ma'am is a short story writer also, and there is a collection of short stories entitled Reflection to her credit. Ma'am has organized many national, international conferences and workshops as a coordinator, and she has participated in various national and international seminars, conferences, and has presented research papers. Ma'am has more than 30 research publications in national and international journals. It's our privilege to have her presence at this national workshop. We will be benefited by her insightful session, definitely. And I am personally thankful to Principal Dr. S.R. Mane sir, convener of this online workshop, Tejaswini ma'am and Rajeshri Patil ma'am, for inviting such eminent personalities at this national workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for introduction of Kalpana Gangatirkar. Now I invite Dr. Kalpana Gangatirkar, our first speaker, to express her views on the topic, that is poetry writing and art. Please, Kalpana.
Thank you, Megha madam. Am I audible to all of you?
You are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Honorable Principal, Dr. S.R. Mane sir, Dr. Tejaswini Patil, convener of the workshop, Dr. Rajeshri Patil, the head of the department, Dr. Savita, the editorial board of Inside Journal, and all the dignitaries over here. At first, I express my gratitude for inviting me here and making me a part of your creative venture. I also congratulate Kasegaon Education Society's Arts and Commerce College and Inside Journal for undertaking this kind of a workshop. This workshop, which is a national level workshop, and I can see that many more participants from all over the country, they have participated here on this creative writing workshop. And I'm very happy to share my views, to have a dialogue with all of you. I congratulate all of you for undertaking this venture for the sake of students and for the sake of budding poets. Now, the topic today, which is given to me, is poetry and art. Poetry and art, and writing poetry can be an art. Now, before pondering over, before touching this topic, I would like to start my session with a poem which illustrates what is a poem. What is a poem? The writer asks, the poet asks, what is a poem? Very shortly, by giving only one word answers, he goes forward. Look, what is a poem? A whisper, a shout. Thoughts turn inside out. A laugh, a sigh, an echo passing by. A rhythm, a rhyme, a moment caught in time. A moon, a star, a glimpse of who you are. So how many things that the poet has covered here while he has illustrated what is a poetry? If we see everywhere, we can find poetry. We can find poetry in the nature. We can find poetry in the beats of our heart. We can find poetry in our laughter, and we can find poetry in our tears also. Poetry is everywhere. It is pervaded. It is as ancient as human life itself. When we are looking at what is poetry and we go on searching how this word poetry came into existence, it has its Greek origin from the word poio. And poio means I create. So how this workshop has given the right name, creative writing. And the poetry is the very first creative form of literature, very first poetic form of literature. Later, all the other forms they developed. So poio means I create, and poetry is something in which you go on creating your own. While poetry is a creative form, let us consider what is creativity. Now, creativity is not only a part of arts, remember. Creativity is not only related with music, with composition, with dance, with sculpture, with writing, with filmmaking, but creation is also related with what we can say science. So many scientists have invented new things. Why? Because they were creative. Scientists eased our life, and literature, poetry, arts, they taught us to live life happily. They taught us how to enjoy this life. Now, this creativity can be practiced, it can be strengthened, and it can be enhanced, which is the power which is in ourselves. So, creativity is everywhere, that is in everyone, but we have to enhance our creativity. Now, all of you are here, and all of you are creative. One can dance very well. One can exhibit his singing abilities by singing beautiful classical and semi-classical songs. One can speak with us by his paintings, his colors, and so on. Because all of you are listening very eagerly, and because all of you are here to attend this workshop on poetry writing, I assume that you are either poets or lovers of poetry. You may have this sensitive, very emotional mind to perceive the things very differently and to perceive the things very beautifully. So I can see the drops of dews, but a poet cannot see the drops of dews. He can find that the drops of dews on the petals of the flower may be the tears of the flowers, because it is a time of dawn and the flower has to separate from the mother earth, and the drops of dews can be the tears of the flower. Or you can even make a kind of an imagination that the stars came down on the earth to play with the flowers, and because it is a time of morning, some of the stars cannot go up in the sky, and these stars take the form of the drops of dews. This is the beauty of the nature which a poet can conceive, which we cannot conceive. So what is poetry? Poetry is the most creative form. Poetry is also an aesthetic expression. It is a piece of art that mirrors your inner mind. It is different from prose. Poetry is called as verse, and prose, it is different. You can write thousands of words and you can express your ideas. But poet has no liberation. He cannot take the liberty to write so many words. Understand? And that is why poetry is different. A poet can be subjective. He can be objective. He can be in his poem or he cannot be in his poem. A poem can have one meaning or a poem can have multiple meanings. A poem cannot be related with a single particular time. Shakespeare wrote a poem in the 17th century, but still these poems are read, taught, learned, translated. Still we find the beauty, and still we can see that these poems, these lines, these words are relevant today. So poems have not, you can say, temporary value. They do not have temporary meaning, but they have permanent meaning. They are completely different, and they can have different interpretations depending upon the reader's own experiences, the reader's own power of perceiving. Now, if we want to be a good poet, if we want to enhance our creative skill in writing poetry, three I's, they are very important from my point of view. What are these three I's? The first I is inspiration. The second I is intuition. And the third I is imagination. Remember, when these three to come together, a great poetry is made or a great poetry emerges. The poet has to inspire. What can give inspiration to the poet? Anything in the nature can inspire the poet. A small thing can inspire a poet. That you can see that. I would like to give you an example of Basi Mardekar, B.S. Mardekar, a renowned Marathi poet. He wrote a poem on a mouse, a dead mouse. So a dead mouse can be a thing of poetry, and poetry, that is a great poem, a realistic poem that he has written. Now, while I was thinking about this creative workshop, and I was thinking, pondering over what can inspire a poem, suddenly I saw a beautiful butterfly, and these three lines came, which is a kind of an expression of my inspiration. I made these three lines. Oh, beauteous, blessed butterfly. Oh, beauteous, blessed butterfly, flying and fluttering your wings and unfolding the riddle of life, saying, the purpose of life is pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. So the butterfly is giving us a message, that is, the purpose of life is pleasure. I'm short-lived, but I give happiness. So a small butterfly can give me inspiration. A small thing can give you inspiration. So when you get inspired, you become restless, and your intuition takes you towards poetry. A good poetry exhibits high imagination. Now, Shakespeare said that the poet, the lover, and the lunatic, they are equal. They are not living in this world. Freud, the great psychologist, had also called poet as a daydreamer. The poet is living on the wings of poetry. The poet is a daydreamer. He is aloof from the world of reality. But this is true. The poet has to be a great imaginative person. Imagination is very important because a poet is inspired. But a good poetry is never an immediate expression of his inspiration. A good poet has to ponder. He has to think. Wordsworth defined poetry as spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions recollected in tranquility. Now, we all know this definition very well. But for me, the last two words of this definition, they are very important. They are recollected in tranquility. Tranquility is a state of trance of your mind. You are completely aloof. You're not there in the common world of common people. You are in the world of imagination, your own world. And you are the maker. You are the creator of this world. The poet enters in trance. In Marathi also, we have a very beautiful word, tandri. Tandri, that we are not at all aware of what is happening in the outside world. So the poet is in the world of trance. He meditates, he ponders, he plunges into his own experiences. And these experiences, these emotions, these passions, these thoughts, they get sharpened, and later on, poetry comes out of the heart spontaneously, just like the water flow. A good poem is never, never, and never artificial one. You cannot take the words and you start writing the poem. No. A good poem is a thing where you have to think, where you have to rethink, where you have to meditate and meditate again and again. It is not artificial, but remember, it is artistic. Poet relies on rich and sensuous imagery. He wants to convey his meaningful experiences. He wants to evoke emotions of the readers. He wants to give thoughts to the readers. And that is why poetry has to be meditative one. It is never and never an immediate expression. While I was thinking about this, I am tempted. I don't know whether I'm a woman and that is why I'm tempted, but I'm tempted to compare poetry, a good poetry, with that of a tasty pickle. You know, when you make pickle, when you prepare pickle, what you do is that you put it in a jar and you make the pickle to remain there for 1 month or 2 months. And then when you eat the pickle has absorbed all the spices. It plunges deep into all the spices and it has become tastier one. In the same way, the poet and his emotions, the poet and his thoughts, the poet and his creation has to plunge deep and emerge again. Now, with these 3 eyes, that is imagination, intuition, and inspiration, we have to think about when everything is there. You have imagination, you have intuition, you have inspiration, but you need one more thing. What a painter needs? A painter needs a canvas. A painter needs colors. What a dancer needs? The dancer needs music, outside as well as inside. In the same way, the poet needs words, beautiful words, melodious words, sweet words, meaningful words. So vocabulary is much needed for a poet. So to the budding poets, to the emerging poets, I would like to say that the power of beauty, the power of poetry lies, it is there in the words. There is no need for you to be a poet to feel the things. Look what I'm saying. Listen, remember, there is no need for you to be a poet to feel the things. But if you can feel the things and if you have the power to transfer these things into words, you are a good poet. So, a good poet should be a wordsmith. You know the words goldsmith, you know the word blacksmith. Understood? A goldsmith, he has so many gold with him. In the same way, a good poet should be a wordsmith. He must have so many good words with him. He should not fall less of any of the words. He should learn new words. He should see, you can say, musical words. The poetry is defined as best words in best order. So he should be selective of the words. He should not take any word and he should put in his poetry. No. He should select his words. Now, if you are thinking about the words, certain words are used in poetry only. They are poetry specific words. They are used in the register of poetry. Now look at some of the words. For example, in our day-to-day life, we call joy, pleasure, happiness. But the poet uses the word bliss or jocund as Wordsworth has used. We use the word laugh, but the poet says woo, W-O-O. We use the word stay, whereas the poet uses dwell. We use the word silence, loneliness. The poet uses the word solitude. We use the word poet, but the poet calls himself as bard. We use the word shine, and the poet uses the word dazzle. For whom in the poem, the word is used abode. For the sky, the poet uses empyrean. How beautiful the word is, musical, empyrean. For the word listen, we have the word in the poetry hark. For the word green grassy land, we have the word lee. For the word eye, the poet uses orb. For the word person's face, the poet uses visage. You have the word that is used by, you can say, John Milton. We write and the poet scribe. We sleep and poetry has slumber. So if you locate some of the beautiful words that are used in poetry, the poet is always in search of good, beautiful, emotional, passionate, meaningful, thought-provoking words. Words are so powerful. They have feelings. They have force. They have all the meaning. The words have visual effect also. Now look at the twin poems which are written by William Blake. One is a song of innocence. Little lamb, who made thee? Little lamb, dost thou know who made thee? Look at this poem. Look at the consonants. Look at the vowels that are used in this poem. And look at the second poem. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? All the words have harsh consonants in it. Tiger, tiger. What a force that the poet uses here. And while we are reading this poem, we can see the tiger with his eyes, which has fire in it. So look at the words which are used by the poet. They are full of having audio visual effect. They are visual. What is a good poem? A good poem that soothes your heart. A good poem can give music in your ears. A good poem can give a visualizing effect to your eyes. The good poem that makes your mind to think. A good poem that makes you to feel. A good poem creates tears in your eyes. Again, while the poet is using his words, poetry is minimum words and maximum effect. So according to me, a poet is just like a miser. The miser who is very frugal and very selective in spending his money. The poet has to be like a miser. It is a skill of the poet to use minimum words which will create maximum effect. Then, to be a poet, we must have certain knowledge of stanzaic pattern, metrical things, the various types of poems. Sonnet is there, song is there, ballad is there, elegy is there, ode is there, or we can say we can have descriptive, narrative, argumentative, philosophical, emotive, passionate poems. I think that the next speaker will give thirst on this. So we have to know certain forms of poems. We have to know metrical composition of the poem. We have to know what kind of words the poet uses, or the poet is much more comfortable in free verse. So we have to have a knowledge of the form, the stanzaic pattern, the use of words that are used in a poem. And we have to do this from the point of view of a reader. A good reader of a poem, a good lover of a poem is a good poet. He can become a good poet. We all know that the language of poetry is different from the language of, you can say, prose. Why the language of poetry is different from the language of force? I'm not using the word that language of literature is different from everyday language. I'm using the word that language of poetry is different from language of prose. Why? Because it is an unormentative language. The language of poetry is just like a beautiful woman who has added the beauty by using various ornaments. Perhaps she is going to marriage ceremony. Perhaps she is happy. Perhaps she wants to see herself more beautiful. And that is why she has added her beauty, enlightened her beauty by using various kinds of ornaments. These ornaments of poems are various poetic devices. These devices can be the devices of sound and they can be the devices of sense. These devices can be simile, metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, hyperbole, repetition, alliteration, symbols, imagery. These are added to make the poem to look beautiful, to make the poem to appear melodious. Now, while the poet uses different kinds of, you can say, devices, what it does, he makes his feelings, he makes his thoughts more and more beautiful. I would like to quote Amruta Pritam. She says, "Kabhi kabhi खूबसूरत ख्याल खूबसूरत शरीर भी धारण करते हैं." So Amruta Pritam says that खूबसूरत ख्याल खूबसूरत शरीर भी धारण करते हैं. So poetry is खूबसूरत ख्याल in खूबसूरत शरीर. A poetry is beautiful thoughts, emotive thoughts in a beautiful words. And the beauty of the words, they are added by using such kinds of, you can say, various kinds of ornaments, various kinds of devices. I will give you certain examples. Milton says on his birthday, 24th birthday, time, the thief of my youth, has stolen 20 and 4 years. So here he uses beautiful metaphor. He calls time as thief. Why time is thief? Because time has stolen the years in his life. Shakespeare's famous lines we all know. All the world is a stage. All the world is a stage. Or we can have another example of simile. Here, oh, my love is like a red rose that's newly bloomed in June. Oh, my love is like a melody
21.
that's sweetly played in June. There is a simile that the poet uses, or the negative simile which Shakespeare has used. Oh, my mistress is like
Very difficult to make it.
nothing like the sun. So you can see that these symbols, these kinds of similes, these kinds of hyperboles, they add definitely the beauty and meaning both of the poem. We have symbols like color symbols are there. Again, red rose. Why the rose is red? Because the poet wants to force that his love is red. Means his love is so fresh. It is so enchanted. It is so full of emotions. Okay. We have certain symbols. Winter stands for old age. It stands for frustrated love. Spring stands for youth, love. We have the symbol of sea. We have various kinds of such symbols that are used in poetry. Along with symbols, we have various kinds of imagery that the poet uses. Like the war imagery is there, nature imagery is there, religious imagery is there. And all these make our poem more and more aesthetic. It gives our poem more and more beauty. Now you can see that while you are thinking about all these things, you will ask me, what are the themes that are used in poem? What are the topics? What are the themes? Anything under the sky. Anything under the sky can be the theme of poem. Now these are the rainy days. And in the rainy days, many more plants emerge. Just like the many more plants, many more poets emerge in the rainy days. Everyone is a poet in the days of spring, in the days of rain. You just write poems, but writing poem means not putting one word with another word, but writing poem is a creative task. We cannot say that the poets are made. Actually, the poets are born. But some poets, they are not aware of the poetic talent within them. As Thomas Gray has said in the elegy written in the country churchyard, that there are many more flowers which are bloomed in the desert and no one knows about those flowers. There are many more pearls that are hidden under the, you can say, deep oceans. In the same way, we have so many qualities within us, the talent within us, that we have to seek what kind of talent is there. And we have to enhance, we have to brighten, we have to sharpen that talent. And by using these kinds of different things, we can sharpen these talents. Now, regarding the theme, you can write poem on anything. There are various poems. We are not able to count those poems which are made on love. Love is a very popular theme that is used by the poets. Nature is also a very popular thing. But once again, because it is a rain, I have taken some four-line stanzas, and I will show you how rain can inspire poet differently, different poets differently. How rain can be reflected in the views, in the imagination, in the thoughts, or in the feelings of the poets. Now, the very first poem on the rain. Tip top patter pat, tip top patter pat, raindrops leap and fly and splash. Tip top Peter pip, raindrops drum, a gentle trip. This is a poem which is certainly a poem which is related to childhood experiences. Now, the second poem, how beautiful is the rain after the dust and heat, in the broad fiery street and the narrow lane. How beautiful is the rain after the dust and heat, in the broad fiery street and the narrow lane. Here, it is the rain, the first rain after the earth has been very warm. It starts raining and you go on looking at the rain and how the rain gives you pleasure, how it makes you fresh. The third poem, but once again, it is about rain. Let the rain kiss you. Let the rain kiss you. Let the rain beat on your head and cheeks. Let the rain beat upon your head and cheeks. Let the rain sing you a lullaby. Again, this rain is associated with love. And the last poem, which is a favorite of mine, I really loved this poem. Look at this poem. As I told you earlier, how the poem can give you a visualizing effect. Blue, yellow, red. Blue, yellow, red. An umbrella over every head. An umbrella over every head. Red, purple, green. Red, purple, green. More brellards. Now here umbrella is not used. Brellards. How beautiful. This is the coinage. More brellards you have ever seen. Green fuchsia pink. Green fuchsia pink. These umbrellas look like dots of ink. Here there is no description of rain, but the road which is full of umbrellas. How you can say beautiful is this one? All these stanzas are from poems. And if you go, if you Google, if you read, you can have many more poems, beautiful poems on rain. So you have all the liberty to write poems on any theme. Poem has no restriction on theme. You can write on it anytime. Now, just at the end of my discourse, I would like to give you some tips for the budding writers, for the budding poets. If you want to enhance your creative talent of writing poetry, if you want to do the exercise of writing poetry, you can follow these things. To be a good poet, be a good listener, be a good reader. You can have many more words. You can understand the music in poetry only when you will listen. You can understand the visualizing effect of the poetry. You can enjoy the passions, the thoughts that the poet is exhibiting, the poet is sharing after reading poetry. So be a great reader, be a good listener, be a good observer also. Look, you not only open your two eyes, but open your inward eye. Find out the things. Because so many experiences, so many things, so many observations, they come together and they can give birth to a really new thing. So observe the world. Observe the beauties of the people, the inward beauties, the outward beauties. Observe the nature. Observe everything what is happening, and it will certainly help you to sharpen your creative talent. Be a lover of nature. Nature has so many things to give us to us. Bounty of things. Wordsworth, he was called as a priest of nature. So many poets, they were lovers of nature. So be in the company of nature. It will make you fresh. It will make you happy, cheerful. It will create an optimistic kind of a view, optimistic kind of an attitude in you. Look at nature and follow nature. Be a wordsmith. Make new words, invent new words, coin new words, create new words, gather new words. Be a friend of many more words. Be meditative. Don't only go on speaking like me, chattering. Be meditative. Speak to yourself. Be a thinker. Introspect. Think about the passions. Think about the poem. Think about the objects which has inspired you to write. Think, and think. Enhance your inward eye. And very importantly, be a craftsman. A poet is not only an artist, but he has a craftsmanship also he has to do. When you write your first poem, rewrite it. When you arrange the words in the first poem, rearrange it. You do it several times unless and until you get satisfaction. And look at the first draft of your poem and the last draft of the poem. And you will understand that the last draft of your poem is much more superior than your first draft. So poetry is not only an artistic thing, but poetry is a thing of craftsmanship also. So write it, rewrite it, and finally, be a critic of yourself. You have to be a critic means you have to think about what are the good things in my poem. What are the things which I am not able to take in my poem, which are lacking? What is there which is full of appreciation, points of appreciation and points of criticism? So you be the theme, you be the critic of your own poem, and then only you will be a good poet. And the final and the important thing is start writing. Once my student asked me, Madam, I want to speak English. I said, yes, go on, speak. He again said, Madam, I want to speak English. I asked, then go on speaking. What's your problem? If you want to speak English, what you have to do is that you have to speak English. If you want to swim, you have to go and you have to swim. You have to just go in the water and try swimming. If you want to learn a vehicle, you have to sit on that vehicle and you can say using the vehicle. So if you want to write a poem, don't only read, don't only think, start writing it. One day, you will be a good poet. You will be a poet whom not only you, but the world will congratulate, the world will also appreciate. I will close this discourse, how poetry is important in life, how art is important in life, by once again a poem. Here is a poem, a dialogue, or the poet who is speaking with his beloved. He said, I wrote your name in the sky. I wrote your name in the sky and the wind blew it away. I wrote your name in the sand. I wrote your name in the sand and the waves washed it off. But I wrote your name in my verse. But I wrote your name in my verse and forever it will stay and forever it will stay. Now I will give you two lines. One is the last line and one is the opening line. The last line should be the last line of your poem. You make this exercise, this line, and thus it all faded away. You write a poem, any poem, and the last line of your poem should be, and thus it all faded away. Then I will give you the first line, and you start your second poem with this first line. Oh, happy bird, what the songs that you are chirping. What the songs that you are chirping. That should be your first line. Now start with this venture. Start with this and you will have, or you will notice the power, the talent within you. I am really grateful, Dr. Tejaswini Madam, the editorial board of INSAI, Kasegaon Education Society, Arts and Commerce College, all the organizers, all the researchers here, all the dignitaries, all the students, all my colleagues for listening to me and giving me an opportunity to have a dialogue with you, to share some of my views, share some of my thoughts regarding poetry. Thank you one and all.
Very nice. Over to Savita.
And that's the magic of poetry. And that's the magic of poetry. Kalpana ma'am, thank you for sharing valuable insights on creative writing. Till now, we were well acquainted with the three eyes of God Shiva, and we all worship God Shiva. Similarly, today you shared and you told us about the three eyes of poetry also, that is imagination, intuition, and inspiration. So, thank you for sharing this information. Thank you for telling us the three eyes of poetry. So, truly, we also worship poetry. Thank you so much. Let's proceed. Now, I would like to invite our second resource person, Srishti Sinha ma'am, and I would like to request Sumati Sarunkhe ma'am, a truly feminist lady, a friend, to introduce our second resource person. Over to you, ma'am.
We have become poetry.
Thank you, sir.
Sumati ma'am, you are muted.
Yes,
You are mute, so kindly unmute yourself. We
Yeah.
are not able to listen to you.
Yeah, unmute.
Sumati Sarunkhe ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yes, now it's done.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Who is there? Sunita.
Hello. Yes.
Now
Very
continue.
good. Yes. Very good afternoon. Very good evening to all of you. At the outset, I thank you, the institution Kasegaon Education Society, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, its principal Rajashri Patil, the convener of this national workshop on creative writing, Dr. Tejaswini Jange Patil, for giving me this opportunity to introduce the versatile personality, Dr. Srishti. She is a poet. She is a teacher, a writer, a blogger, an editor. What a superb combination it is. Above all, Srishti, Srishti is a commerce graduate and she did work for US based mortgaging firm for few years. But her poetic genius did not allow her to go further in commerce field. Her love for poetry forced her to do masters in English literature. Srishti Sinha, she is a native of Dehradun, Uttarakhand, a beautiful place. Now she is married and settled in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Besides being a teacher of English literature, a writer, a poet, a well-being mom blogger, she is an editorial board member of a poetry team at the NCE Journal, an international journal. She had conducted many short-term courses in creative writing, editing, and publishing. To her credit is an anthology, a brochure that depicts varied instances and undergoings in society. She has also got 4 books written and published for her school. Currently, she is working for 2 anthology publications, creating content for her school. She is writing school books, and also designing impactful on classes for preschoolers. She is also pursuing PG diploma for higher studies along with an extensive course in editing and book publishing. So far about her career. One most important thing about her is she is very good human being, simple, straightforward. She has very strong, influential disposition and personality who can easily win any situation. We are thrilled to listen to her as her poems are songs of her soul. They drench her inside out to leave her living in music. I am sure all the participants will benefit from the workshop on creative writing with a creative writer, a poet, Srishti Sinha. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Savita.
Thank you, Sumati ma'am. Now I would like to request our resource person, Srishti Sinha ma'am, to continue to proceed her lecture.
Hello, am I audible? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yes, yes, ma'am, you're audible. You can proceed, please.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone, each one of you. I would like to thank Principal of Kasegaon Society Arts and Commerce College. I would also like to thank Dr. Tejaswini Patil ma'am, who actually invited me. And I'm thankful to each one of you. And like just we heard Kalpana ma'am, it was so mesmerizing speech that I was already in trance, and I don't know, me, she had covered almost everything and every aspect that one could think of when we speak about poetry. So actually, I don't know that now what is left for me to say. But yes, if I should say, what do you mean by a poet? When you say I am a poet, then what do you actually mean? A poet is a person, is a person who actually listens to his or her own soul, who is actually paying attention to what his or her own inner soul is saying to that subconscious mind, or that we say conscience. That person when we listen to our own soul, then only we are in that state where this poetry comes to us. Actually, I've just now, like the introduction is, I don't know, means it was a lot, but just one point from that introduction. I was a commerce student, and I did not had any experience of literature or arts. But there was something like from my school time only. I was an avid reader and also writer. I just love to write anything, a two-liner thing, a four-liner thing, anything. And means someday somebody just said this to me, that you write means you write gracefully, and you should know what you are writing. You should know more about it. So actually, I then pursued the literature thing, and to me, actually, this poem is a song of soul. When your soul is singing, when it is in a muse, when it is in musing, then only this poetry comes to you. For me, when I wrote my first poem, that was a very, just like Kalpana ma'am explained to us. When you write your first draft, the first thing, that is a complete musing, that is a complete random thoughts that are coming to your mind. To the young writers, I would say that when you get these kind of thoughts, just write them down. Write them down at any point of time. If you don't have your notebook, your notepad, or things like that, just write down in your mobile phones. These days we have this thing, mobile phone, with us. So do not let your thoughts run away just like that. With a snip of shot, they will go away. And the other moment in the evening, if you will think that what those two lines came to you, you will actually not be able to hold them. Why? Because they have already gone. So actually, to me, poem is like that. I cannot write. If you ask me, Srishti, please write one piece right now. Maybe I will not be able to write even a single word because I need that kind of a peaceful environment. I need that kind of an inspiration, which already Kalpana ma'am was talking about. I actually need that inspiration. I need something to click me, something that should touch my soul, something that should actually churn me and my thoughts. And that will make not just one line happen, that will make many lines happen. And once I just draft a one piece of poetry, I then again I come back to it next day and then I read it and then I find there are a lot of loopholes. There are a lot of mistake in those lines which I have already written. So actually, when we say poem or poetry, it is something which are random thoughts, and because we don't, as a writer, we don't have a much space to explain exactly what we were thinking about, exactly what topic we want to explain. We don't have much space, so we need to have a right combination of right words, right metrical things, right devices of poetry, and only through them we get this we enable ourselves, we enable our poem to express or to touch or to be able to explain or to be able to explain about its real meaning to the other person, to your audience. Like I'm also teaching preschool kids. So when I read Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, it is such a simple thing. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. Up above in the world so high, like a diamond. It is such a simple thing. But when we see this simple thing, this simple four-line thing, whenever it has been written in a way that has conveyed the exact meaning that the stars are like, they look like diamond, and they whole this whole four line is giving the image to the reader, to the listener, to the audience. They can actually imagine what you are speaking about, what you are saying about. So in that way, poem actually, whenever they are written, they actually need this kind of images. They need the devices to be followed. They need a certain meters, and they need all those things, the musings, the songs, the surroundings, the illusions. They need the images to explain it. Otherwise, they cannot explain what a poet is saying. One poem which I would like to pick is The Bangle Seller, which is of Sarojini Naidu. We all know Sarojini Naidu, the nightingale of our nation. She was called as Nightingale of our nation, the Bengal Seller. Such a beautiful and such a simple poetry, such a simple piece of poem. And it gives so much of depth in itself. It is not only giving us the images of those twinkling of those shiny bangles. With every color of bangle, it is also explaining the each phase of life. The poem is explaining every part, what what a woman faces, means passes through. So the poem is explaining like that. Like I would like to read from it. The second stanza says, summer meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. For the maiden's wrist. This is such a beautiful line that there are some bangles which are made for maidens' wrist. Girls, those who are not married, and they also wear bangles, but they are not supposed to wear bright color red bangles. They are not supposed to wear such kind of bangles. So they are misty colors. They wear misty. They wear pastel colors. They wear subtle colors. In order to give this phase of life, in order to explain this phase of life of a girl or of a woman, how beautifully this poet has captured these words, and she has put these words together and have narrated it. So I actually just love this thought. And obviously, when we are talking about the poem and its essence, then how can we forget about William Wordsworth? William Wordsworth, when he says in Daffodils, I wander lonely as a cloud. he actually speaks about poet, how a poet is actually venturing like a cloud over the sky and looking everything down on the earth, everything down on the earth, which is giving inspiration, which is actually giving something, something to learn, something to know, and something that is relating to his soul. So I would not like to say a lot now, because already I think that there is not much thing that I can say. I'm just a learner, and I'm learning from all of you. I'm enjoying this session. But I just want to say that yes, if you want to write a very good poetry, if you want to write a very inspiring thing, a inspiring piece, then what you need to do is you need to read a lot. You need to read a lot. Then you need to listen a lot. Until and unless you don't do these two things, you cannot go on to the third thing, and that is writing. You cannot go on to the third thing. So just read a lot if you actually think that you need to write a beautiful piece, a masterpiece someday. So just keep on reading, keep on listening, and keep on writing. Keep on writing again and again every time. So that is it. And I would like to, while concluding my part, I would like to just thank Dr. Tejaswini Patil ma'am. I would also like to thank all the organizers and everyone, and also my means, I don't know if I can get Kalpana ma'am's number someday. Then I would be very much happy to talk to her and to gain some more insight from her. So that is it. My heartfelt warmth to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Srishti ma'am, for sharing the three skills to us. Yes, surely we will follow these three skills because we want to be a good poet here. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable views. Now, I would like to request Rajashree Patil ma'am, the Vice Principal of Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, to uh, to give her presidential address. Dr. Rajashree Patil ma'am.
Good evening, all of you. This is Rajashree Patil, Head Department of English, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon. In my presidential speech, at the very outset, I would like to welcome warmly our guide and staunch supporter, Honorable Principal R.D. Sawant Sir, Secretary, Kasegaon Education Society. I extend my warm greetings to Dr. S.R. Mane Sir, Principal, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon. His balanced mind and calm and quiet posture has always encouraged us to positivity. My warm welcome to Honorable Sri Arbindo Ganga, who is the founder of INSEI and who has explained how INSEI started, and he explained about its journey. Hearty welcome to scholarly resource persons, Dr. Kalpana Gangatirkar and Mrs. Srishti Sinha. My warm greetings to all the participants, all the teachers, all the participants and poets from various places all over India, my colleagues and the students. Today, Arts and Commerce College, in collaboration with INSEI, an international journal on creative writing, has conducted national online workshop on creative writing. Today's was the first part, and the topic was writing poetry. The workshop aimed at providing the guidance and the expertise by veteran creative writers as regards the creative writing in its various aspects. It is quite useful for the emerging and budding poets. This endeavor certainly will provide deep insight into creative literature and inspire teachers as well as students to be more creative and acquire knowledge and skill of writing poetry. I must appreciate actually the sincere efforts and hard work of Dr. Tejaswini Patil, my friend and my colleague. Before it slips out of my mind, let me do this. I congratulate and I very much appreciate Dr. Tejaswini Patil and her team for this venture. Dr. Tejaswini is the mind and the hand behind this activity. In this COVID-19 pandemic situation, while the whole world is isolated and unpleasant things are happening around us, and when devastation of flood and heavy rains have added to it, this program is like an oasis in the desert. A solace, it is a relief for us. It will not give us an aesthetic joy only, but also it provides a healthy and sublime escape from the grim reality. This program, the purpose of this program is a very commendable one, guiding to new poets. We had two resource persons, two guest speakers, Professor Ganga Tirkar ma'am from Kolhapur and Mrs. Rishti Sinha from Lucknow. Professor Ganga Tirkar madam has shared her views on poetry writing as an art. Her deliberations gave a higher and deeper outlook, a wider perspective to new emerging poets. Poetry is an art and art is for pleasure. This is what we have been told since our college days. And we have grown up with the quotations of Wordsworth. Poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. We have been told that poetry takes birth because there is pain in the heart. It is a vehicle for self-expression, and therefore it is said that Virahi hoga pehla kavi, आह से निकला होगा गान. So, out of pain, although the poetry emerges, it gives us pleasure, and this pleasure is an aesthetic pleasure or artistic pleasure. Poetry has a value of permanence. It gives us perennial joy. It is beautiful, as Keats has said, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Art is indispensable thing in our life. Without poetry, our life would be insipid. Poetry transforms common things into unique experiences. Life is never fully accessible to us because there are limitations. We are confined to limits. But poetry captures those inaccessible aspects of life. Love, life, death, nature. These are the things which are repeatedly covered in poetry, but all the time they are presented in a new light. Poetry reflects human passions like joy, sorrow, humanity, faith, justice, moral values, mercy, fear, love, and whatnot. And therefore it has universal appeal. It awakens a response. It thrills us, fascinates us, and moves us into a higher personality. We are moved emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and we are transformed into a better person, more sensitive, more sensible, brave, considerate, reflective, imaginative, affectionate, sympathetic, truthful, hopeful, etc. It gives wider and deeper insight into life. This is what was the gist of Dr. Ganga Tirkar madam's speech actually. She had said all these things, but in a quite different way. Her speech was so enlightening and so enriching. I really thank her. It was very, she was very pleasant to listen to. It was a pleasure. Her speech was just like a poetry, just like a music. Actually, we all are exalted to listen to her. Her speech was a poetry actually. I liked it very much personally. And she has given illustrations. She has illustrated, cited many poets like Wordsworth, uh, and many others. So because of which her speech has become very interesting, as Srishti Sinha has said that she has mesmerized everyone. She has given very important hints to the budding poets. How poetry, what is poetry, the concept of poetry, she tried to make it clear. And she has told the budding poets that there are three things which are prerequisite. They are inspiration, intuition, imagination. So if you want to become a great poet, you should have inspiration, intuition, and imagination, and great poetry emerges out of it. Great poetry emerges from heart spontaneously. She also insisted that meditation is required. Not only inspiration, but meditation meditation is also required. Not only you should be an observer, but you should also be a reflector. You should meditate and reflect. So she said poetry is very beautiful because of the imagery in it. And she also has given examples of many poems, how poetry appeals to our senses and how it gives us the joy. The power of poetry lies in the words. And therefore she has coined a new word, wordsmith. Poets should be wordsmith. All these points very beautifully she presented in her deliberations, in her discussions. She really had a very presented a very beautiful dialogue with the budding poets. And this session is very insightful, very much enlightening and enriching. I am very much grateful to Kalpana Gangatirkar ma'am for this session. And next, there was the next session by Professor Srishti Sinha. Her topic was poetry writing a technique. Actually, there was a question in my mind because there is a quotation that poets are born and they are not made. Then when we speak about the technique, then technique means the craftsmanship. So on one side we say poetry is spontaneous, and on another side we say that poetry is also craftsmanship. So, but you know that this is the era in which not only content but form is also very important. So poetry should be presented in an attractive form. As it is an art, it should be presented in an attractive form. And such sessions are useful to commerce and science stream students, because they are not aware of the style or the stanzic structure or the metrical side of poetry, the technical aspect of poetry. And therefore, although they have flair for writing poetry and they have the poetic talent, they lack this knowledge. But if we provide them this knowledge, they will write more beautiful, more elegant poetry, and definitely they will be benefited by such a sessions. So in this way, because of this guidance, with the guidance and the hints of Mrs. Srishti Sinha, our budding poets can even write more beautiful and elegant poetry. They will come to know about the choice of words, power of words, style, etc. So, without the knowledge of technical aspect, no one can write a good poetry. So thank you, Professor Sinha, for such an insightful guidance to our students. And I would like to say that In the conclusion, I would like to say that poetry appeals to heart and it cherishes hope. And in this surrounding of despair, disappointment, this hope is quite necessary for us. So we can see how poetry is important in our life, because we all know umid pe duniya kayam hai. So with this note, again, I want to quote here Shakespeare's lines, which celebrate poetry. So long as men can breathe, so long as eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share my views here. I thank you all for giving me patient ear. And with these few words, I conclude my presidential speech. Thank you. Over to Savita.
Truly, madam, we are today, actually, we are celebrating the poetry on this virtual forum. The poetry is between said and unsaid word. I am very much thankful to you for sharing your presidential address here. It was very much wonderful. Now I would like to proceed to Dr. Sunil Patil sir to pay the vote of thanks. Dr. Sunil Patil sir.
Yes, yes, madam. Yes, madam. I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm
sir.
here to express vote of thanks on the behalf of this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Srishti Sinha, an international scholar from Lucknow, that she explained very nicely the relation between poetry and the soul. She told in her speech that writing is very much essential to write poetry. I express my thanks on the behalf of Kasegaon Education Society's Arts, Commerce and Science College, Kasegaon. For the second place, Dr. Kalpana Gangatirkar very nicely challenged. She had challenged very nicely to the established concepts of poetry. She talked and created new world of construction of poetry. For example, already Savita had told here that 3 eyes, inspiration, intuition, and imagination. And also, like Goldsmith, there is new creation of wordsmith. And she also delivered very nicely alternative poetic words. Very nicely, Kalpana Gangatirkar, madam, you delivered your speech. Secondly, Aurobindo Ganga, who has explained very nicely about the International Journal INSEE, the founder of International Journal. Aurobindo sir, I am very proud of your journal because with you, I am proud of Dr. Tejaswini Dange Patil madam that with you, she is working on this platform. Secondly, especially Dr. Tejaswini Dange Patil madam, who is an emerging poetess of Maharashtra, and she just recognized all over India, and she has great linkages with international scholars who built the castle of webinar on creative literature and recitation of poetry very successfully. I am proud that you are belong to my institute, you are belong to my college. Then, fifthly, presidential speech very nicely has been given by Professor Rajshri Patil, HOD, English Department, Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon. Then next one, Dr. Megha Dikshit and Professor Sumati Salunke very informatively gave the acquaintances of our resource persons. Then our principal, who has given inspiration to Dr. Tejaswini Dange Patil madam to organize such type of webinar. This is the great achievement of Kasegaon College, and this is only because of principal Dr. Mani sir. And lastly but not leastly, Dr. Savita Patil, our very nice, good, humane lady who is now working at Ramananda College. You have established the best of best coordination among the scholars and the participants. Now, again, I would like to give thanks for Dr. Tejaswini Range Patil, Madam, who has given me a chance to express vote of thanks. Thank you, Madam.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a kind word and appreciation for everyone.
Okay, Savita. Okay.
On this note, I would like to declare that the program of the
Session.
first session has been is ended.
Okay.
So now we are going to turn to yes, ma'am. Are we going to turn immediately
Yeah.
to the poetry
Yeah.
recitation?
Yes, yes. Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now let's turn to our most awaited, exciting the program, exciting session, that is absolutely poetry recitation. So here we begin our poetry recitation. I would like to begin the poetry recitation with today's modern Dylan Thomas of the world, we could say here, Dr. Basudev Paul sir from West Bengal. I would like to request him to recite his poem as he has some urgency. So we have just made some changes, and we would like to begin the poetry recitation session with his poem. Dr. Basudev Paul sir.
Paul, sir? Take student first, Mehtar.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. Yes, yes.
I'm here.
Yes,
Actually, I joined there. I hide her on every birthday.
Yeah.
Musical things, extravaganza will be going on. And that's why I thought it better to be here to interact with the students and all. So today, actually, for that, Madam Kumudala, I composed a poem on birthday. And that particular poem I'm going to recite.
Sure.
Birthday. The title of the poem is Birthday. Birth of any organism is the hope of life hereafter. Be it the evergreen forest or the deciduous forest. Seeing the light of this wonder world is benign. The object aborted before birth is pain incarnate. If the new life concerns a human entity, it's quaint. It's precious for the humans. If pinched, pure joy could descend in the heart of the poor. The same joy coruscates in the palace of the rich. Like blood, it hardly matters between two identities. Question is, how does one look at it and vary? In your effort to surprise your creator is good. It finds expression that has never found before. Being part of it, we feel your buoyancy with womb. Let it bring the song of universality in every breath. Thank you.
So nice, so wonderful, as usual. Wonderful beginning of the program.
Yes. Thank you so much, Basudev Paul sir, for the birth, that is the biological process. You have given a very poetical outlook. It was very interesting. Thank you so much. Let's turn to our next poet. We are going to offer the forum to the budding poet. First of all, I would like to call upon Anagha Mehtar, Havir College, Kolhapur, to recite her poem. Anagha Mehtar.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yes,
Good
Anagha,
evening,
you
everyone.
can.
Good evening. Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are.
it is raining here, so please tell me if I'm not audible.
You are audible, clearly audible. No problem. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, good evening, all the dignitaries and both the resource person and principal of the Arts and Commerce College of Kasegaon and all the teachers. And yes, last but all the student participants. Good evening, all of you. The title of the poem is Search of Self. And shall I start?
Yeah, sure. Start.
Okay. Last time I checked, I was a butterfly, soaring and flying in my own sky. Was trying to search a new color, but the image suddenly appeared blurred. Last time I checked, I was a lioness, solving whole forest mess. Was in try to solve my own heart slur, but the image suddenly appeared blurred. Last time I checked, I was a hawk, edging my rostrum on the rock. Was fluttering to stop my own flutter, but the image suddenly appeared blurred. Last time I checked, I was a princess, running in my own race. Was breaking the expectations spur, and I astonish. This time, image doesn't appear blurred. This time, image doesn't appear blurred. Thank you.
Wow. Princess, wow.
Thank you, Anga, a princess.
Thank you so much,
It
all
was
of you,
really a
and thank you, Arts and Commerce College of Kasegaon, for arranging such a wonderful session. And I thank both the resource person for enlightening us. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, princess. Let's turn to the next poet, Samradni Kulkarni from the same college, Mahavir College, Kolhapur. Samradni Kulkarni.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can proceed.
Okay. Good evening, one and all. Before reciting my poem, I would like to tell few lines summary about it. So this poem conveys the awareness of the fact that we are alive in spite the manipulation of nature on human life. What the world mean to us and how each and every breath counts. After all, what really is life? It's just a line between reasons and answers, a confluence and people and places, a dialogue with histories and memories, defeated corners and victory of desires, and a lot of explanations and its fulfillment. So I'll start my poem with the title Awareness. How so lovely it is to feel our lives just the very way on and on it drives. How amazing it is to put a foot out in a stamp of surety that will sprout. How gracious the touch of awareness that we live in, manifest consciousness, where nothing ever steams, incognizant with the oblivion of a vague patient. How liberated we are from shortcomings, like a light that exposes our own failings. Such luxury on a platter with all modesty as we engage a unique life with propriety. See, see how justice is flipped on its own head. Because we have the light, we no more are dead. See how many wrongs has been made right as we shine our knowledge ever so bright. Let he that has teach it to the world, for with it into the skies we are hurled. And let he that lacks it daredly so seek it, for it is not one of such to regret. Thank you. It is so kind of you all to provide this platform as an opportunity to amplify our voices. Thank you so much.
Nice one.
Thank you. It was wonderful, Samradni. And we are also happy to listen to all of you. You all the budding poets are very, strong, and you are very confident enough in presenting your thoughts here. It was wonderful. Let's turn to the next poet, Ganesh Bandgar from Arts Commerce College, Kasegaon. Ganesh Bandgar.
Need to see if he is there.
Ganesh Bandgar. Okay, let's turn to next poet, Manisha Adke. Is she there? She's again from the same college. Manisha Adke, are you there? Okay, and then next poet, Asif Ambekari.
No, he also is not able to because of flood. He is not able.
Okay, yeah. This has created a problem to all of us. And Simran Ghashi from KRP College, Islampur. Simran, is she there?
I don't know whether she has joined. Yeah. Sound
Hello.
name. Yes.
Yeah, please.
Patil ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
I am one of the participants who are attending the webinar, but I have not given my name for this poetry recitation. So since nobody is there of participant, may I have a request to present my poem?
Yeah, introduce yourself. Are you a student?
Yes. Yes, I am a student of Mahavir College, Kolhapur.
Sure.
Suvarna,
Continue.
this is Suvarna Sachin Patil.
Okay.
And I have made this poem just now, before 10 minutes.
Oh, yes. That
So,
is the
shall I
outcome
read?
of the, yes, workshop.
Yeah, it is spontaneous. So shall I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's just a small effort, and thank you for this opportunity. So I start my poem. I always land in an imaginary world, running after bubbles, and sorrows are on hold. Sun is showering happiness, and wind takes satisfaction. Stress is faded, and spreading love is the only action. No need to complete targets and no fear of breaking hopes. No regression about incomplete aims and no race for catching goals. However, I know it could not be for real, just glimpse. And all I know that is I am just chasing false dreams. And the title of my poem is Chasing False Dreams.
Nice one. And
Yeah, truly, we always have to chase the dream to achieve some phenomenal and majestic thing in our life. Thank you.
Thank
Let's
you so
turn
much for
to our next poet. Yeah, I would like to request Sweta Kumari from Bihar to present her poem.
Am I audible?
Yeah, Sweta, you're audible.
I am visible.
Yeah, visible also and audible also.
Actually, after a long time, I'm on video mode. Do I need
You're
to give my
looking pretty. You
introduction?
can carry on.
Okay. To recite my poem entitled Free Will in the Lap of Nature. Whenever I am tired of this worldly role of a struggling with heart and soul, I find one place in the whole world. Then I come to her, the Mother Nature, to set my goal. I find my ease in the presence of her, sometimes sitting on the seashore and talking to self in search of peace, where no such thing is. Merely I get true relief of the visible to fulfill my own will. In seeing the waves of the sea or looking at the blue sky, and I find here my choice and need to be in the lap of nature and observe her creed, that how she serves the planet with her free will, that what I want and possess my will, my world, and here that often accomplish. That's all. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
nice.
Thank you. It was very nice. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Sunda Shelke ma'am from Jaisingpur to recite her poem. Dr. Sunanda Shelke ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Let me turn to my poem without spending more time. The title of my poem is At Such Every Time. The poem is a feministic one. Let me tell it at the very outset, and then your ears will be attentive for that. At such every time. Whenever I try to grapple with every moment of creation, whenever I try to grapple with every moment of creation, in my eyes there stands the evergreen tree of love with new foliage. In my eyes there stands the evergreen tree of love with new foliage, and underneath my feet lies the sleeping silver of moonlight. However, my words are unable to embrace them. However, my words are unable to embrace them with their velvet wings, comes between my womanhood. The anguish of womanhood throbs at every threshold. The anguish of womanhood throbs at every threshold, stumbles at the footier of house at such a time. At such a time, I think of bandaging them with the balm of words. However, comes between my tolerant Indian culture. At such every time comes the thought, needlessly Savitri taught me to read and write. At such every time comes the thought, needlessly Savitri taught me to read and write and think. Otherwise, there would not be the uneasiness underneath the bottom of words, and would not have arisen the storms striking every moment of creation, the storms striking every moment of creation. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wow, it was very nice. That's true, Sunanda Shelke ma'am, that Indian woman is bound with family matrix. So if woman wants to soar into the sky, she has to breach it, and she has to dart into the sky. Thank you so much for this feministic thought. Let's turn to our next poet, editor, and lecturer, Shri Mohanlal Verma from Rajasthan.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much for this occasion. And I would like to thank you, all the staff who organized this beautiful seminar on poetry. And I would like to recite my poem from my second book of poetry, Stop Sexual Abusing. And the title of poem is Oh My Daughter. A father says to his daughter, Oh my father. Daughter asks to her father, Oh my father, I'm your daughter as lovely as my brother. Then why don't you allow me to wear shorts, to wander free, to enjoy my life as I wish? Then father replies, Oh my daughter, who says you are as lovely as your brother? I love you more than my breath. How can I be careless towards my life? You are my honor, you are my name and fame, and you are my bliss. Daughter asks, oh my father, my friends enjoy every moment. They have their boyfriends, put on garment as they wish. Why don't you allow me to enjoy my birthday and to celebrate Valentine's Day in the club or in a party? Father replies, oh my daughter, you have right to live your life, enjoying every moment. Uncovered organs are not ornament. They are to be saved because they are soft, like star of our eyes, which is saved by the eyelids, like our heart that is saved by the ribs, like the flower which is saved by the sepals. Do you think a flower will be beautiful without sepals? Eyes will be beautiful without eyelids, and heart will be beautiful without ribs, without sepals. Petal will fall down, eyes will burst out and shabby without eyelids. Body will not survive without ribs over the heart. Oh my daughter, flower blooms among thorns, pearl is found covered in oyster, diamond is found covered with coal. Beauty and softness demand protection. Beauty and softness demand protection. Oh my daughter, attention, attention, attention. Thank you very much.
So nice poem, sir. Wonderful.
Yes, yeah,
Beneath
Mohanlal
it.
sir, it was very nice, very nice. And yes,
Thank you
we
very
have
much.
to be alert to protect ourselves. Thank you so much. I remind here the poem Prayer for My Daughter by W. Beats. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Now let's
Thank you very much,
turn
madam.
to our next. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Let's turn to our next poet, Dr. Dadasaheb Sandhi from Vita College.
Perhaps he has not joined. I haven't
Okay,
seen.
let's okay. Let's turn to our very promising poet, Ayush Srivastava from Delhi. Ayush Srivastava.
And it's a sheer pleasure to be over here. Thank you so much for the invitation as well. So I think that this is not a job of a poet, but I should explain what I have written through the verses over here. Thought, I have written on the limitation of thought, and it's merely Upanishadic as well. When I was writing it, it was based upon the Taittiriya Upanishad, and through it, I recognized how thought had certain limitations. For instance, thought always works in the realm of the past. Thought, which is a response of memory, belongs to the past, and the past has nothing whatsoever to do with reality, as the past has got changed to the present. And on the same, I have written a couple of verses over here. I'll start. I should start. Do you know what divides you from me, mate? That which is absent in that thoughtless state, when we become what's before our eyes, when we are the dawn, the sun, and the sunrise. There is no self, nor its movement then, nor is there any past, any scriptures or religion. There is no place for fanaticism or distress when this duality itself turns into oneness. The love growing in the light of timelessness, the light that has no judgment or selfishness in the absence of thought. It is in that love that we are one with one another. Let that love grow, my mate. Let that love grow forever. So it was merely on the limitation of thought, how thought is limited, and how thought brings about the structure of a psychological thinker as well, belonging to a particular community and a particular creed. That's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ayush, sir. It is really astonishing to listen spiritual and philosophical thought from such a young and dynamic poet. Thank you so much. Let's turn to our next poet, Aditi Barve from Goa.
Good evening, all of you.
She's a columnist also.
I hope you all
Good
can.
evening, ma'am.
I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, we can.
All Right.
Yes.
My specialty is my simplicity, and the title of my poem is Love. I was expecting many of the students to recite love poems, but no one did, so let me do it. So the title of my poem is Love. Here it goes. I was waiting for you through summers and rains. No words can describe the sorrows of the pains. Darling, love is not a profit and loss statement. Darling, love is not a profit and loss statement. Love is not for people who invest and repent. Love is just giving without counting gains. Love is the light that can't be tied to chains. Hey, I'm waiting for you to respond. Hey, I'm waiting for you to respond. I love you the same even when you abscond. Such an unlimited love is rarest of the rare. It shocks me how you still don't care. Your business mind feels that love is no profit. Your business mind feels that love is no profit. But greatest is the loss when one rejects it. But greatest is the loss when one rejects it. And to conclude, my love is an energy which rejection cannot exhaust. My love is an energy which rejection cannot exhaust. What kills me is the gravity of what you have lost. What kills me is the gravity of what you have lost. Thanks a ton for giving me this opportunity.
Great.
Wonderful.
Reminding,
Wonderful.
reminding of Shakespeare's love poem.
Yeah, very nice poem.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi ma'am, for considering and exploring the definition of love. Thank you so much. Let's turn to our budding poet Shubham Khade. Shubham Khade is a student
Can you
who
hear me,
wants
ma'am?
to recite his poem. Yes, Shubham.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to recite my poem. So I'm going to recite my poetry. So it's about nature's love.
We are not able to see you,
Hello.
Shubham. We are not able to see you.
Hello. Just 1 second, ma'am.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, Shubham, you're audible but not visible.
Now you can see, ma'am. Hello. Now you can see me, ma'am.
No, no, Shubham. We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
There is a connection problem here.
Okay, okay. You can. Yes, yes. Now, yes, yes. Now we can see you. Yes.
Okay, so this is basically a poetry about nature. So I'm going to recite it. Let's go to the valleys, to the mountains. We shall cross those paths, holding each other's hands. We shall wander through the woods in loneliness, just you and me. We shall swim in the shallow lagoon, where no one can see us. We shall enjoy being around the beautiful crowded flowers. We shall dance with them as they move to the wind blows and waves. We shall sit on the first rocks while watching the sunset from the peak. We shall sing with those melodious songs of the birds. We shall get wet under the weeping sky, because we will enjoy doing so. We shall sleep on the bed of roses under the blanket of the star-studded sky. Blue night sky, go in the sweat slumber under the nature. I feel the love, I feel the nature.
Thank you. Nice, very nice one. Shubham.
Yes, nice, truly nice. Yes, Shubham, we have to get nearer to the nature, and we have to listen it, the every natural thing by heart. Yes, we
Yeah.
can feel it by heart. We can realize it surely. Now, it's time to proceed. I would like to request Kiran Grover sir from Punjab to recite his poem.
Kiran ma'am.
Kiran Grover sir.
Kiran ma'am.
Kiran Grover ma'am. I'm so sorry.
काय झालं तुला काय झालं
Mute. Shubham, mute yourself.
Kiran Grover, ma'am. Is she here?
Perhaps she is not. She is not seen.
Okay. Then I would like to request Professor Rajasri Patil, ma'am, from Islampur to recite her poem. Rajasri Patil, ma'am.
Yes, this is Rajasri Patil. I'm going to recite a poem which is originally written in Marathi by Kamal Kadam from Nanded, and I have translated it into English. The title of the poem is Who Am I? Actually, the poem is dedicated to women. It is the celebration of womanhood. The title is Who Am I? I'm like this, I'm like that. Who am I? What am I? An angel I am, a sword I am, here I am, there I am, and not a burden on the world. An arrow of light, a fire I am, an awakening to, not a commodity to use and throw, but an emblem of sacrifice is what I am. Love I am, song I am, victory I am, and a tradition too. Butter of revolutionary churning is what I am. Home I am, door I am, a supporting pillar too, a sweet tune for sweet melody, and a milk of sucking child is what I am. Religion I am, duty I am, a core of love too, a simple meaning of life's success. That is what I am. The very color and the form of truth and the struggle against injustice is what I am. Morn I am, eve I am, a ray of hope and an instinct of destroying evil too. Happiness I am, sorrow I am, that is what I am. A mute sufferer was I till today. A mute sufferer was I till today, but now I'm the glow of light of hope tomorrow. Having no identity of my own, till today I was daughter, sister, and a wife, yet a living human being. Morally, morality and justice were my other names. Being a mother of all, I'm devotion, I'm innovation, an emerging strength of 21st century is what I am. Thank you.
Yeah, it's simply great. Yeah.
Wonderful. Truly, woman is all in all. So let's celebrate the womanhood. Thank you so much, Rajashree Patil, ma'am. Now I would like to request Aurobindo Gangaji from Kerala to recite his poem. He is a founder member of Insai Journal.
Thank you, Tejaswini Patil. Is it audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, before I recite my poetry, I just wanted to add points. One is this session we will be having in our published in our Insight in the September session, because we are going to extend this session from July to August, I suppose. So we don't want to have two content as such for in two issues. So I suppose we can have one content in September. And another thing is, Tejaswini ji would also agree with me that we can have Dr. Kalpana ji's content as an article of sort, because I thought the content was really good really good, and it would enrich students as such, and for the literary commune as such. So I would ask you to actually get the content if she permits us to do so, so we can publish the content for the September issue. And another thing is, it is quite an entertaining session so far, whether it is the workshop, the two speakers, Shrishti Sinha and Dr. Kalpana ji. It was so much entertaining and enriching session. And I suppose students were really enriched with the sessions, and I hope there will be more genres to be added as we go into the journey for short stories, fiction, non-fiction, etc. And I look forward for that as well. And another important thing, third point, I told you 2 points. I just got another point. INSAI is going to have its first anthology, which is going to be published probably in a couple of months. And the deadline is August 2nd week. So because this is poetry session and this is going to be exclusively poetry anthology, we would like to invite all the beautiful all the beautiful souls who write poetry for our Inside Journal. So we are looking forward for submissions, and any information you need, you can visit our website. We have all the submission guidelines and everything for you, so that we can consider your work and we can publish. And we will be publishing probably 1 or 2 volumes depending on the content, depending on the numbers we get it. And probably selection is another criteria, but I suppose we'll be having a lot of submissions, and that would be really good for us to have our poetry published for our journal.
Title.
Yeah. So sorry for having so much information here. So I shall begin my recitation. So
No, the title of our anthology is Lilith, no?
Yeah.
So
Title of
what.
the anthology.
Anthology, yeah.
It's basically on womenhood. It's basically on womenhood. So I suppose you'll get a huge contribution, and we already have it. And if we are going to receive more contribution from globally, if you're going to get a good contribution, we are going to have 2 or 3 volumes as such. So it depends upon the contribution. So thank you so much for letting me give this update. And before I start my my poem recitation, I just wanted to add that Ayush Sinha read a good poetry on thought. So I don't know how it went by. Like I also have the same thing on thought, not exactly on thought. It is more about thoughts and spirituality and philosophy. So a small poem. This one is already published last year for an anthology where Tejaswini ji was the editor. So it is from the Mystical Voice. You already know that. So yeah, here we go. The title of the poem is Inception. Creating a thought from the existing needs the inception. To know the beginning of a thought, the source is expected. The substance of a thought can wither. The substance of a thought can wither to know the elements. Try to observe the whispers in her silence. It was blank. Many times the observation ended, rescinded, knowing the genesis. Many times the observation ended, rescinded, knowing the genesis. Cleave the existing to see the beginning, to know the self. Cleave the existing to see the beginning, to know the self. Observations in silence drafted a few specks, reaching out to whisper. Moving with the flow of horizon appeared to start from the traces. Moving with the flow, the horizon appeared to start from the traces. The genesis began the traces of estrine thought to see. The genesis began the traces of estrine thought to see. The end was the beginning was the end. The end was the beginning was the end. Wishes the circle to let the wind flow, never to quill. Thank you.
So nice. So nice.
It was wonderful, Aurobindoji. Know thyself. That's true. Here we can find. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request our friend Deepak Pawar sir from Buldana. Deepak Pawar sir, are you there? I would I would like to request Dr. Shravani Chakravarti ma'am from Chhattisgarh to present her poem.
Thank you, Savita ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible and visible also.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would congratulate Kasegaon Education Society for organizing this wonderful online national level workshop series on creative writing in collaboration with Insight, which is an international journal on creative literature on peace and humanity. And I'm really thankful to the organizers, to Principal Sir Dr. S.R. Mane of Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon, Rajeshri Patil ma'am, HOD Department of English, and Tejaswini Patil ma'am, who is the convener of this online workshop, for giving me this opportunity to recite my poems. So, as Kalpana ma'am has also said in the beginning, in her keynote, that every poet has an inspiration. So the nature and all the beautiful seasons have always inspired me. So this is a small poem on rains, because this is my fourth poem on rains. I write in English and also in Hindi. So the title of the poem is Blissful Rains. The welcome advent of rains brought back memories again of my childhood friends, dancing as if in the frenzied droplets of musical strain, jumping over the puddled drains, splashing water in every lane, standing behind each other like a train, playing in the flooded pasture land, forgetful of their pleasure and pain. Today, the scenario has changed. Childhood has been caged inside a four-walled room with a mobile or laptop in their hands. They can see the light or heavy rains only through the window panes. Unfortunately, missing the palpable touch of the velvety, soothing rains to quench the thirst of their parched brains, unable to go out and play in the rains and get drenched themselves fully in the life-giving, blissful rains. Thank you. If you permit, I will recite another short poem. As Tejaswini ma'am told me that if you are reciting short poems, then you can recite 2 poems. If you permit, then I'll recite. Or if there are other poets also, they should also get an opportunity. Shall I?
Please, please, please.
Thank you, ma'am. The title of my next poem is Tears. The anguish of the heart, load encumbering the mind, the stress, strain, and depression trickles down, soaked in sobs, when the eyelids hug each other. Sometimes, after a heated argument, in a momentary splash, shot from the red-hot eyes, burning with temper, dribbles through the corner of those enunciating eyes. Occasionally, from a lover suffering from the pangs of separation, a shower of outbursts reveals her doe-eyed, coal and mascara smudged, exuding the precious pearly tears. From the inner corner, it emerges, hung between the iris and the pupil. When the eyelashes kiss each other, tears roll down the cheeks, silently beginning to pour what the lips are unable to utter. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really very nice, ma'am. Really very nice.
Thank you, Shavni ma'am. Actually, it is really wonderful to hear from you. Basically, you really told the fact that today's generation is truly a gadget lovers, and our childhood is truly blessed. And
Yes.
it very beautiful
For the
imagery you
situation.
and beautiful imagery you have told here. Eyelids hug each other. It was really, and it is really a very very beautiful thought that you have that you have shared here. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, ma'am. Thank you.
Now I would like to request Dr. Srinivas Pavarsar from Patan to recite his poem. Dr. Srinivas Pavarsar from Patan.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Audible and visible.
May I have the permission to share my screen, please? Because I don't want to miss any word of my poem by any audience, please.
Okay.
May I request the host, please?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Dr. Anil Sudar, please.
To make.
Please allow me to share my screen, please.
Yes.
Sorry for taking
No,
it.
it's okay. It's okay.
तुझे चहा का करत नाही
Yes.
Yeah.
अर्धा तास पण वेळ लागेल ती लोक गाणार आहेत कविता माहित नाही का
कल्पना.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I will recite my poem. First of all, I would like to thank Tejaswini ma'am for giving me this chance. This is purely love poem. Taking into consideration the audience as a students, I have made it for this conference only. The name of the poem is Final Farewell. One of my friends called me after so long a time, and this poem is inspired by her. The melodies of the past once again tuned. The mirror of memories became more cleaned. Her message came after many years, moved the feelings of a lover ready to be wooed. She never did say me farewell or goodbye. I would think when on my couch do I lie, why at once she had undone the tie? Had all those years been she living a lie? I asked her how well she is doing. Is there any mask she still wearing? She gazed at me when rain drizzling. Her utter silence told me everything. I found her gloomy eyes getting a bit wet and tried to change our topic of debate. She placed her tiny head on my chest. Same pink lips, same sweet taste. My dead heart was beating like a drum, erected from a tomb by young handsome. The stars of the night witnessed to some. The winter's night was so awesome. And the concluding lines are, the darkness of our hearts was flown away. The two lovebirds so blissfully sway. She asked me a favor of final bid away, promising my white seeds she will lay. Thank you very much.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful poem.
Well said, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request Pankhuri Sinha ma'am from Bihar to present her poem. Okay, it seems that she's not present here. May I request Vinita ma'am from Pune to present her poem? Vinita ma'am. I would like to request Alka Purwar ma'am to present her poem. Alka Purwar ma'am from Uttar Pradesh.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Feeling really thrilled to be the part of this literary feast. Thank you so much, all the organizers, for organizing such a wonderful program. So far as my poem is concerned, it is about How, what, and why do women write? So the title carries Women Write. The title of my poem is Women Write. Women write when smile, write when cry, write while sleep, write while dream, write while break, write while awake. Women write. Next stanza. With unparalleled boldness, Isma Tapa writes. Isma Tapa is here. We all know Ismat Chugtai, the famous Urdu author. With unparalleled boldness, Isma Tapa writes, celebrates obscenity, creates controversy, faces trials, speaks truth to power. Women are rebels. Women are rebels. Next one. Out of unsurpassed agony, Mahadevi Verma writes. Out of unsurpassed agony, Mahadevi Verma writes, tears melting into alluring melody. Tears melting into alluring melody for existence beyond the horizon. Longs to die, meeting her soulmate. Longs to die, meeting her soulmate just for one. Just for one. Women are helpless. Women are helpless. Next stanza. Truth, sheer truth. Amrita Pritam Rai, the famous Punjabi, Urdu Punjabi author, Amrita Pritam. Truth, sheer truth. Amrita Pritam writes, pain transforming into abstract figures. Pain transforming into abstract figures. Soul, super soul. One entity beyond the senses. Women are mysteries. Women are mysteries. Next, peeping through smoky eyes. Airs of feminine words, spreading the magic. Women are enchantresses. Women are enchantresses. Next, an iconoclast of her generation. An iconoclast of her generation, Kamala Das writes, rites of forbidden fruit, carnal desire, erotic gestures, craving for fulfillment through body. Craving for fulfillment through body. Women are vulgar. Women are vulgar. Women write, cry but scribble. Scribble but surrender not. Get hurt but smile. Get criticized but speak up. Suppressed but survive. Women are obstinate. women are obstinate. The last stanza. Women write songs of purity and perversion. Women write songs of purity and perversion, of love divine and devastation, of emotion and emancipation, of hope and happiness, of anguish and agony. Yeah, women right to smile, right to survive, right to create history. Yeah, they right to smile, right to survive, right to create history.
Wow.
Thank you, one and
Wow.
all.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Total history of women concluded here who are writers.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, women can create a history. That's true,
Well,
and it's true. It's fact, and it should be that women should always be tuned to write. Thank you, Alka ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. Now I would like to request Hemangini Mane madam from Maini to present her poem. Dr. Hemangini Mane
Yeah,
madam.
yeah, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. Good evening. Very recently, that is on the 6th of July 2021, my papa departed this life and took his last breath at the age of 86. He was a good human being. He was a great teacher, a wholehearted person who worked hard in his whole life to educate not only his children and students, but to the poor society, needy one, homeless children, whom he blessed with his divine touch. His outspoken nature about knowledge, humanity, and kindness taught us how one should live his life as a human being. I have written more than 200 poems and his biography to engrave his life on the minds who happen to read it. Here is one of these writing. I am going to present it before you. The title of the poem is Beauty is Deity. Dear Papa, I remember the day I became a teacher. You said with eyes full of tears, students are images of God and you are the trustee of that great creator. Teach them humanity and nurture their minds to work hard and spiritual awareness. Papa, you also said, teach them the price of liberty. Make them aware of the troubles taken by patriots, the river of blood and heap of flesh spent by the sovereignty, for the sovereignty. Papa, you also said children are the future of humanity. Love them knowing value of human soul. Papa, your roaring voice sown the seeds of revolution against injustice. Your sweet voice sung beautiful poems. Your pure and pious voice told Gita to common mankind. Today, that voice is no more. My heart aches to listen to that musical voice, to listen to that musical voice. Thank you. I'm thankful the principal, Dr. S.R. Mane, sir, is Arts Commerce College, Kasegaon, my friend, Dr. Teja ma'am, and the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to express my feeling. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. It's true that parents live in their children. Thank you so much. Now, I would may I request Miss Na Chanu, ma'am from Assam, to present her poem.
Am I audible?
Yes, Miss Na, ma'am, you're audible.
First of all, good evening, everyone. And I would like to thank Tejaswini ma'am for inviting me to be here today. It's a quite my pleasure to be here with all the esteemed poets of India. Basically, I'm not from literature background. I studied science and I did my post-graduation in botany, but I love poetry. So I have been writing poetry since my childhood. Now for today, I would like to recite a poem from my first published book, that is A Little Piece of Melancholic Sky. I won't say anything about my poetry because I heard somewhere that if the poet has to say about his or her poetry, that means the poetry is not good enough to say itself what the poet is trying to say. So let me recite. The title is A Little Piece of Melancholic Sky. A little piece of melancholic sky. This is all I have in this evening of life. The darling sun is resting too in the arms of scarlet sky of the west, leaving me alone in the east with the longing of a dawn that I am not certain of. The majesty of the night with her cloak full of stars, wearing the veil of mystery, it's approaching her arms. But I see a mother, a sister, and a friend from a time immemorial. She asks me nothing, but her eyes, as bright as the full moon, are looking into my soul. I do not know what she finds, but I'm certain of her love and glory that makes a nightingale sing just a melodious song, but and a poet write his euphonious ode. And I, in the middle of my melancholic sky, find my moon and my stars, and a place to dream and dance with the fire and flame that the Queen of Night has added more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a very nice poem.
Thank you very much.
Now, I would request Sushminder Kaur ma'am to present her poem. Uh, it seems that she is not present here. Then I may I request Kalpana Gangatirkar ma'am to present her poem.
Yes. My poem is related with a very light kind of a theme. I'm not going to tell anything about that poem, but it's a small situation that happens between he and she. The poem is only on a small situation that going to a resto and having a coffee together. He is there and she is also there, and they are there to have a cup of coffee. Now I will start my poem. It's a pleasure to drink coffee. It's a pleasure to drink coffee with you. It's a real pleasure to see you drinking coffee. It's a real pleasure to see you drinking coffee. You breathe the smell of fresh, fragrant coffee. You breathe the smell of fresh, fragrant coffee. Then you close your eyes, as you always do. Then you close your eyes, as you always do, while enjoying each bliss. And then the beautiful curved lips are turned into a sensuous round. And then those beautiful curved lips are turned into a sensuous round, breathing, cooling the hot, hot coffee. Breathing, cooling the hot, hot coffee. Slowly you sip and say, Aha, pleasure. Then wiping the pair of your pinko lips, wiping the pair of your pinko lips with your pink tongue, you are ready to enjoy your another sip. But the soft blowing breeze whirls the locks of your hair. The soft blowing breeze whirls the locks of your hair. You push them back. You push them back and enjoy another sip and move your head with appreciation. Your nostrils flutter, your eyelids drop, and experience the ecstasy. And suddenly you look at me with warm brown coffee eyes. I'm there with my cup full. Suddenly you look at me with your warm brown coffee eyes. I'm there with my cup full. Your eyes are filled with childlike bliss. You summon me to have coffee with your eyes. Sweet, bitter, and hot coffee. Raising your eyebrows in authority. Raising your eyebrows in authority, you order me. And I sip the hot coffee. Pleasure, isn't it? You say. Pleasure, isn't it? You say. I nod. You rejoice. I nod. You rejoice. But darling, watching you drinking coffee is a real pleasure for me. But darling, watching you drinking coffee is a real pleasure for me. Thank you.
Very nice, madam.
Thank you. Wonderful, Kalpana.
It was nice. A lot can happen over a coffee. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kalpana ma'am. I would like to request Srishti Sinha ma'am to present her poem. We are reaching at the end of our poetry recitation session.
Webinar is
Good evening, everyone. Actually, I was not able to decide which one should I recite because poem is like a child to every poet, means to the creator. Own creation is like a child. So okay, here I'm going to recite one of my creation. It is Insight. The title says Insight. I have never seen the sun, but I know it's warm. It gives life to creatures here, thankful or dismayed. I have never seen a bird, but I know it chirps, feeling pleasure in every corner, beneath or high above. I have never seen a river, but I know its sway, quenching the thirst of every being in the city or in village. I have never seen a rain, but I know it's cool, drenching away all over, movable or moved. I have never seen a man, but I know they vary. Some giving their hands for life, some takes it away, being volatile. I've never seen God, but I know He is present, though He is not giving me sight, but bestowed me with insight. Though He is not given me sight, but bestowed me with insight. So this was actually about a blind man, means how he perceives the world. So that is it. Thank you everyone, and thank you for this wonderful event and this wonderful evening to me. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Srishti ma'am. Now I would like to recite my poem. It is very much light actually. Shall I?
Sure, madam. We are listening.
Thank you. Loving you is a breath. How could I stop it? Walking with you is a journey. How could I turn it? Listening to you is a heartbeat. How could I pause it? Sensing you in dream is sight. How could I veil it? Thinking of you is a mind. How could I rein it? Being with you is alive. How could I exit it? Thank you so much. Now I
Wonderful, madam.
request
May I have a word?
Tejaswini Pat.
Madam has some issues
Yes,
on that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm there.
Sorry.
Now I'm back. I'm back.
Simply great, Savita. Very nice.
Thank, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The feminist mood of the poetry has uh, immediately been turned into something which is positive towards the patriarchy. Thanks to your poem.
Thank you.
Am I
Now I
there?
would like to request Tejaswini ma'am.
Am I visible?
Tejaswini ma'am to yes, yes. I
Yes,
request you
yes.
ma'am to present your poem and simultaneously pay the vote of thanks also. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Hello. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes. I'll recite
Yes.
my
I think
Who is there?
wanted to add.
Yes.
Pankuri wants to
Yes,
add.
yes. Yes.
We
You
just
just
got.
completely forgot me. I thought, let me just say hello. And if you allow me, I would also like to present a poem.
Yes, yes. You were not there. Yes, we tried. And that time you were not. Yes, yes. Please, please.
Sorry, say that again. Actually, maybe my signal went off in between because I. Okay.
Yes.
uh,
Yes, yes.
okay. So this is a very
You do
realistic
continue.
sort of about the dark side of this life. This is the only one I can find right now. Otherwise, I would have read something that's published in the journal. Anyways, this is about the corona hardships that we all faced, and it's in the first person, but it's not an autobiographical poem. But here it goes.
Not audible. It's audible.
It seems that internet problem is there.
Yes, yes. She's facing. She's traveling. Not yet, ma'am. Not yet clearly heard. Not yet. Please.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah. It's
Is it
better
better?
now.
Okay.
Yes. Off your video. Yes.
Sorry?
Off your video so that voice quality will be better. Not at all.
The oxygen got exported, so was vaccine.
I think it's not audible. I think it's not audible. Tejaswini, you go ahead.
Yes. Not audible. Yeah, Pankuri ji, it's not
Just
audible at all. We are not able to listen to a single word.
The signal is gone. Yeah.
So I will read my poem. Yes. The title of the poem is Bounties of Nature. Man is a universal seeker takes in his stretched hands. Man is a universal seeker, takes in his stretched hands. Nature is the eternal donor that spreads from green to sands. Nature is the eternal donor that spreads from greens to sands. The warmth of the sun caresses, everything grows to life. The warmth of the sun caresses, everything grows to life. In the lap of the moon does, everyone sleeps, forgetting day's strives. Melting away the snow in spring, melting away the snow in spring, the land awakens from hibernation. Summer decorates the trees, birds do sing in rejuvenation. All ornaments are taken by the fall. All ornaments are taken by the fall. To wear dense shawl of sweet things are sweeter only when they are lost. The sweet things are sweeter only when they are lost. Thank you for patient listening. And now I would like to thank all the dignitaries. I'll take the names so that I would like to utter their names. They who presented their poems here. They are in students. They are Anagha Mehtar, Samradni Kulkarni, and one from Mahavir College. Then Sweta Kumari, Dr. Basudeb Paul sir, Shalin Kumar Singh sir, Ayush Srivastava, Aditi Barve, Professor Rajeshri Patil, Dr. Sunanda Sherke, Shri Aurobindo Ganga, Dr. Shravani Chakravarti ma'am, Deepak Pawar sir, Dr. Srinivas Pawar sir, Pankuri Sinha ma'am, Alka Purwar, Dr. Alka Purwar ma'am, Shiv Kumar Agarwal sir, Dr. Himangi Rimane ma'am, Nisna Chanu, and Savita, who anchored the whole program, who moderated the whole program so nicely. Though there were network glitches and everything, she continued with utter subtlety for being here and rendering their poems here for our college, our invitation for Arts and Commerce College, Kasegaon and INSEE. May I request all the participants that in the next part 2 will be on short story fiction and non-fiction, and the dates will be finalized, and then all the participants who have registered for this one will be sent the invitation for that next two sessions too. So if it is okay, I feel okay. If others want to join, they also can join. And I wish all of them to be present for next two sessions too. So awaiting the next sessions together. Thank you so much. And the feedback link will be shared in the group as well as to mail IDs, and fill up the information and you will receive the certificates in 3 to 4 days, maybe, because one by one the certificates are given by internet automatically. So I will be waiting for your presence, and I will not actually thank our college because it is my mother institution and we are the hosts. So even on the side of INSEE, we are hosts. So I would like to thank all the members to be there with us forever through anthologies, programs, through series, next sessions, and all. Thank you once again, one and all.
Thank you.
Have a nice time. Good night.
Exactly, it was a quality time that we spent together. Very nice.
Yep,
Very
coordinated.
nice.
Nice time. Nice event.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next sessions links will be provided on mail to all.
Should I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.